Talk to me about how you prospect and how you would recommend other people to prospect.
Yeah, my best advice there is differentiate. It's like the stock market. You differentiate your portfolio. You've got to be very cognizant that it's a probability game, and so don't just lean on one thing. You want to have a variety of mechanisms at your disposal. I mean, and also be very mindful of the time that you have to invest to do it. What I mean by that is, I've had reps over the years that they spent, an hour researching an account before they called on it, and then they'd call and they couldn't get a hold of anybody. Probably wasn't a good use of time. On the flip side, you also don't want to go in completely blind, not knowing anything about their industry, not knowing anything about who you're reaching out to. We live in a world where we have all this information at our disposal. I can see where somebody went to college. I can see what hobbies they have. So to be mindful of, hey, I want to have a conversation with this person, but also to be mindful of the amount of time that I want to invest in getting these discussions and the probability that I can get that meeting. That's what you really want to be cognizant of. You also want to realize, look, I'm not trying to sell anything right out of the gate. I'm trying to establish a relationship. Frankly, I'm just trying to get a conversation at this point and see if there's any ability to add value. Now, I know for anybody watching this, they're thinking to themselves, well, you work for Microsoft. It's probably pretty easy for you to get a meeting with somebody. Not always true, but on the flip side of that, I've also worked at small shops. I worked at a small consultant firm a few years back, and that's where I really started leveraging some of these social tools. So I always talk about prioritizing the warmth of relationships. So your network is the warmest relationship there is. That's a strength. That's something you always want to fall back on, whether you're looking for a job or you're trying to develop relationships. So if you see somebody that knows somebody you want to talk to, that's the best viability that you have to get in front of that person. Now, the next thing is I like to set up a process, really a system. So I have my email alerts, right? So I'll have email alerts about a different organization, or maybe it's a business journal. And so that way I can kind of see what's going on in the territory. That's alerted me of, changes in the C-suite. So there's new people that I want to reach out to, M&A activities. So if there's a merger, acquisition, different types of compelling events that I can reach out and offer a value or offer a service. So set up these email alerts, your LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You can go in, set up your account list. You can monitor those types of things. And personally, I play a numbers game when I'm actually going out and doing cold outreach. So I do everything I can to see who my network knows. If there's a warm handoff that can transpire or an introduction, that's the best. Also, we work in a very robust partner ecosystem. So I try to really build a team around myself of different people that also have a vested interest, where maybe we can create a mutually beneficial relationship to try to say, hey, we would both benefit if this relationship over here happens. How can we help each other make that happen? So that's another value add. But then finally, if I'm going after just blind, cold research, I'll go to LinkedIn, I'll go to Sales Navigator, and I have leveraged messaging that I've changed countless times in the last 10 years, but I will send that out to people very intentionally. I'll set up my search parameters. I go after, maybe it's a C-suite, maybe it's a VP, a director level, but I'm very intentional in how I send this messaging, and I try to send it to many people that I think would be a good relationship to have. And then I send the connection request, and I probably have about a 40% or higher probability of getting that meeting based on the verbiage that I use. And then after that, I'll reach out again, thank them for the connection, and try to get a meeting. And, just like anything, you're not trying to sell anything. And it's also like if you're looking for a job, you're not asking for a job. You're asking for a meeting. You want guidance. You want advice. And so often when I'm trying to meet with a potential prospect, I'm looking for how can I add value in this relationship. Now with Microsoft, that's easy because they probably invest with us today. So personally, I'd like to make sure that they are privy to the resources that they're entitled to, or that they know some of the ways that we are operating in their industry. And I'd like to, have them be a source of truth. Keep me honest on, is this a good way to support your industry? If I'm a consultant and I'm at a consultant firm, I may go a different route and focus on some of the strengths of that firm, some of the areas of aptitude that we have, and just say, hey, I'm really interested in finding more about this or that maybe that organization is doing. Maybe there's a particular offering that they have, because really you're looking to bolster value there. You're looking to say, hey, I feel like as a consultant group, we can bolster value in how you position your key product or key initiative. So I think that's where I would focus, Sasha, is focus on the heat, the warmth of the relationship, leverage your network, leverage the information overload that we have at our disposal to do some research, but then focus on the numbers game when you have to go cold and develop new relationships. There's so many tools at our disposal. I use LinkedIn, and it has really helped me to get in the door, have conversations, and then also stay top of mind. They can see what I post, and that's also a very passive way of selling. I send newsletters, I put together events, build a community around what you're doing, and people will take interest.